Hey traders, Raghi here, and before we go into the weekend, it's about 7 minutes after 4, and I'm looking at an inbox right now. I think I've stopped counting at about 4 dozen emails on what is going on with the yen and the Dow and what my plans are to take advantage of the yen movement and what it is that I did with the Dow today. So a lot of traders ask me about the dollar yen. That's what I have this on the screen right now. So the first thing I'm going to tell you right off the bat is if you're looking at the dollar yen, you're not listening to what I'm telling you about heat maps. So let's head on over there first. So this is the heat map from Oanda. I love this tool. It's very simple. It's very visual. It's a 1 month look back here. As you can see, December 30th. And what do I know about any inclination I have longer term to play yen? It should still be a buy. There is nothing that is stronger than the yen. That may seem a little hard to believe, but one day's worth of yen weakness does not necessarily unravel the strength story that has been the yen. The yen's down, as you can see in the 1 day relative performance, about 2%. That created a number of corrections, and specifically corrections against currencies that the yen was much stronger than. So I'm not talking about the euro or the US dollar, the Canadian dollar, even the Aussie. I'm talking about the yen versus the two currencies that I sent out last night in the premium video about how we can sell pound and how we can sell New Zealand dollar. In fact, we talked about this on the Thursday morning chat. So, Thursday, 8 a.m., we meet for our discussion of the markets every day. We go to about 10:30. So if you're not already a member of the Simpler Forex tribe, something to think about, because we were looking at British pound Japanese yen and New Zealand dollar Japanese yen even before the BOJ came around and whack-a-moled the yen. So what did the BOJ do? They just kill the yen by going to negative interest rates. What does that mean for us? That means an immense amount of risk appetite and more yen weakness. Now, how do we play that? Well, first of all, I know a lot of you love the morning Dow trade. So I got a lot of questions about the Dow. So let's start there. Longer term, actually longest term. Let's go to the longest term chart. I am looking for the August central bank, the People's Bank of China, that August 2% deval low to hold. I'm actually looking for the 200 period simple moving average on the weekly chart to hold. And I've been mentioning for a few weeks now, if you're a longer term bull, and I mean longer term by you're looking at a weekly time frame, you buy calls in this zone. And some of you have had a lot of fun with that. Not enough of you though, but some of you have had a lot of fun with that. The next time frame I'm going to talk about is the 5-minute chart. I'm going to be doing a talk on February the 16th about how to trade volatile markets. We're going to have a 3-hour course on how to handle how to identify, how to handle, and how to trade volatile markets. And then we're going to do some live trading the very next day. This is going to be February 16th and 17th. And I'm giving you kind of a sneak preview of what we're doing now in the Simpler Forex room. So every morning at about 9:55, 9:58, right before the end of the clearing, the Dow clearing, we set up a simple, elegant, amazing setup called the clearing range setup. And we did the same thing today. And with a few nuances, I went ahead and said, look, don't look for a lot of momentum through those range breakout levels, but wait for the day trades. And that's what we had here. We got the day trades that triggered right here and here. And I like to do this after 10:30, okay, right after 10:30 till about 11:30. And that's typically when our best trades are going to set up. And then throughout the day, we had a handful of other opportunities to play this as the market rallied into the weekend. One of the things that I am doing right now, one of the best ways to handle volatile markets is do not expect session to session organization. Do not expect the market to hang on to the sentiment and momentum that it had in the previous financial center, thinking more like a Forex trader, what happened in Tokyo, what happened in, say, Paris, what happened in London. Take each session as a standalone, take each day as a standalone. And every day we set up this Dow trade, which gives us an immense amount of insight into what the yen may do, what COMDOLs may do, right? So with that in mind, we took the long side of this Dow trade. And there was no reason to look for any kind of fade. There was no reason to do anything but simply trail a stop and then maybe re-enter on a pierce of the 13 EMA or a move to the 21 EMA until what? Until the wave is broken or we start plotting some blue or red grab candles. If you don't know how to use my grab candles, if you're not familiar with them, I do have a link in this email that will show you where to download them. And I have some free resources because I think that indicator is really going to be a complete game changer for you. And if you're looking for more detail on how to use it in volatile markets, join me on the 16th. So what happens now? Well, I wasn't interested in putting on the aggro trade on the daily chart of the Dow because, that would just be stepping out in front of the train. That makes no sense. As we go into the weekend, I'll be interested in seeing how Monday reacts to this 34 EMA on the low, which is now a conservative correction of the overall daily downtrend. So if I am interested in shorting the Dow, which I am, I'm going to allow the 5-minute chart, this building block chart, to show me when the selling pressure is coming in around 16,350, the major psych level. I want to see the angle of the wave level out. I'd like to see some blue grab candles on that 5-minute chart to show me that that bullish sentiment momentum is waning. Okay, what else is that going to tell me? Well, if the Dow is exhausting, that's going to bode well for two of our entries right now. And I know a lot of you are enjoying some tremendous follow through despite the Dow strength. The Japanese yen has been stronger than the British pound, and the Japanese yen has been stronger than the New Zealand dollar. Yes, there are things weaker than the yen today, and we sold those against the yen. If we do have the exhaustion at the resistance level in the Dow in the daily time frame, and next week, as we begin the month of February, we see a little bit of a retracement of this extreme reaction to the Bank of Japan going to negative interest rates. If we see any kind of daily fix that suggests that People's Bank of China is going to do a little bit of managing of their own and weaken or devalue the yuan a little bit more, just watch how fast we take back today's rally. And a massive rally it was, almost 400 points. Any move from this, any kind of correction of this 400-point rally would absolutely get us towards our profit objectives on the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, and the pound Japanese yen, because we've strategically chosen those individual currency stories to be the weakest ones against the Japanese yen buy. If I'm going to buy something, wouldn't I like to buy it against the possible weakest currency counterpoint that I could find? Absolutely. And that's why this trade worked, despite having a 400-point rally in the Dow. And again, if we retrace in any way on that Dow rally, that pound yen and that New Zealand dollar Japanese yen is going to tumble on yen strength as we correct. And again, this isn't just my fading a 400-point move in the Dow. This is my looking at the 400-point move in the Dow leading me to a level that I consistently look to as a conservative correction. In this case, the 34 EMA on the low within the context of a downtrend. How do I know it's a downtrend? The 4 to 6 o'clock angle of the wave and my red grab candles. And so you'll see how understanding the Dow not only allows me to trade the Dow, right? Trade this area, but it also gave me a terrific pound yen and New Zealand dollar Japanese yen entry in an environment where nobody was thinking there was any kind of yen buy, but there was. So this is where understanding the Forextra, those futures contracts that make an impact on Forex traders, and then knowing what the heat map tells me about where the opportunities may be waiting, pitting weakness against strength, gives me a pretty nice end to the week. And so again, for those of you wondering about the Dow, there was no reason to let off the pedal until the 5-minute chart starts to show us that the bullishness is subsiding. Visually, the grab candles would tell me by starting to plot blue grab candles. Visually, the 34 EMA wave would lose at 12 to 2 o'clock steepness. None of those things happened. So it made sense just to trail those stops and manage that winner into the close. Next week, again, taking things session by session, not committing to longer term follow through, We'll start to reassess what the market does. I would love to see a clearing range breakdown to coincide with my expectations of the Dow correcting some of today's big move to the upside. Have a terrific weekend.